So let's talk about the two games impending today. And let's talk about this Dallas Mavericks game right now. First, I want to say the Dallas Mavericks won the series, and that's honestly pretty crazy to me because that now sets up the Western Conference Finals versus the Timberwolves or the Nuggets versus the Mavericks. We have now two teams in each conference and two game sevens which are being played today. We have the Knicks versus the Pacers, which is one of the more interesting game sevens as both of those teams are really going to come out and just try to win as much as they can. But I do think that the Knicks will beat the Pacers because of the presence of MSG. It's been known that both of those teams play really well in their own home court. And I think that Jalen Brunson, especially and with the guys that they have, as long as Josh Hart plays, they will be able to win. What does scare me though is that the Knicks have gone through so many injuries recently, and if they don't open up that rotation, if they don't open up that lineup, then maybe they actually won't be able to do anything. I feel like it is very important right now. It is for both teams to really consider their strengths. For me, I would tell the Pacers to shorten their lineup, let the big guys play more minutes. That way, they can actually get to expand and really do what they were supposed to do, as opposed to putting in guys which may sell them the game. For the Knicks, I would tell them to open your lineup a little bit. For all of these games, you've been playing these lineups which are injuring your stars. And I understand that Tom Thibodeau is very, very, very like dead set on his ways. But when you have games where you play a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein or Josh Hart for 33 minutes and 31 minutes respectively, and then they give you a total of a combined 9 points, then maybe your guys are not working because they're injured, they're tired, and they can't work that hard. So please, for Tom Thibodeau, I would say just rest them, let them go. Now, for the two games which I actually want to speak about. First, this Dallas Mavericks game. Jesus, Luka. Luka in this game was the best player on the court, just completely dissecting the Thunder defense and being able to always keep his team steady. I feel like the Dallas Mavericks in this game needed such an effort, and it was kind of a heroic effort from absolutely everybody. The PJ Washington threes and free throws, which after a terrible night of playing from him, he actually saved them the game. Then the Kyrie Irving three, which bounced up and in. Derek Lively with his 15 rebounds. Luka with the assists and the threes made. And that whole ending sequence was kind of just an eye-opener of where it was like, Jesus Christ, this needs to be studied, this level of offense to defense ratio. What I will say is that the OKC Thunder, what really lost them this game that a lot of people don't talk about is foul trouble. Lou Dort and I think Chet Holmgren both had 5 fouls, and it was something which was like, okay, those two guys have 5 fouls. Those guys can't leave the game. So when they were not trying to play those guys in positions where they would foul, and then that's how you get the Kyrie shot, which went in because Lou Dort wasn't trying to touch Kyrie. Kyrie made the shot, obviously. Then they go back down the court. And now that as soon as Kyrie made that shot, the pace of the game changed. Because now Dallas is not thinking, we need to beat this team. They're thinking, we need to sustain our lead. And that just was completely easy for the Mavericks, considering the fact that they were playing as a team. And in every sense of the word, apart from maybe the illegal screen or what was called when Kyrie came off of that Derek Lively screen. But when they were playing offense and defense, you noticed that there was an urgency and an experience which OKC does not have. PJ Washington hitting that three with that Luka pass, that was probably the most important three of the night, giving them a 3-point lead as they needed that to be able to win the game. And that's where I feel like experience comes in. For OKC, a lot of their guys, when they're not having a good game, they just kind of give up. For the Dallas Mavericks, you can tell that there is a complete effort always. And even you could have had the worst game of your career. But if we need you in the fourth quarter and you're still in the game, you're still playing. It doesn't matter if you go and you put up 4 bad shots at the first quarter and you miss all of your shots. We need you there when it matters the most. One thing that I really liked from this game was the Kyrie integration in the fourth. I feel like that honestly won them the game, as they really were able to put themselves in a position to get better looks, as in the fourth quarter they're gonna double team, triple team, quadruple team Luka if they have to, because they know he's dangerous in those clutch moments. So that really allowed for 3 people to step up Luka's gravity, which were Kyrie, Derrick Jones Jr. with that incredible save that he had when Kyrie shot got blocked, to that beautiful turnaround jump shot, which actually turned into one of the best shots of the game, as it gave them a 5-point lead with a minute left, and it forced the Thunder to go into panic mode. And then you had that beautiful sequence, in the end of the game, after Shea hit that 3, after everything was said and done. You had that beautiful sequence from both sides where, even though Luka was in a tight position, he made the right pass. PJ Washington shot it. Yes, it didn't go in, and OKC tied up the game, right? Or they were able to tie up the game, right? But then, through a kind of a BS call, I would say, but they were able to take the lead through that beautiful lob. And then, with that moment right there, when Luka gets it, he passed it to PJ Washington, and Shea, because of his inexperience as a player, right, just fouls the living crap basically out of PJ Washington, and then they were able to win the game. What I will say that I liked is that Kyrie went, as soon as he shot that ball and missed, Kyrie went straight to going up for a layup, which shows something of a high experienced player. And that these are things in the game which you have to notice, because even if you don't, understand a lot about basketball, knowing that those types of things matter is very important. After that, PJ obviously hit his 2 free throws, which salute to him for doing that. It takes an extremely mentally tough player with the series on the line to be able to hit 2 free throws. I mean, I know that he had 3, but still, he hit the 2, and then he had a perfect intentional miss where it basically won them the game. I do want to say shout out to Luka, shout out to Kyrie, and shout out to the Mavericks. I did think that they were going to win the series, and this is what I say when experience wins playoff games. Now, moving on to the other game that we have today, because I wanted to talk about this one and the 2 games which we have pending. Talking about the game that we have today, right? We have to see the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Nuggets go at it one more time, right? And that, for me, is something very important, right? I do believe that the Mavericks are extremely good and they deserve to win. I feel like this win was warranted, and especially when you look at their players, it was good. But for this Game 7 today, I feel like there's one important piece which happens, and that important piece is how are the Minnesota Timberwolves guarding the Denver Nuggets? Are they going to come out 150%? Are they going to come out and look slow? Are they going to come out and maybe not look up to pace? This Game 7 today is going to be very interesting, and there are way too many factors for me to speak on this unless I have maybe a 20-minute video. So what I will say is shout out to the Mavericks. We'll see that game tonight, and tomorrow you guys will definitely get a report on that. What I will say that the biggest X factor for that game, and the biggest, of all of them, is how is Jamal Murray feeling? And I feel like with the answer to that one question and how he plays, we could probably figure out the winner of the game.